Coming up tonight on VCU InSight.
A local high school is using new technology to protect their football players from dangerous concussions.
A Richmond high school is back in the game when it comes to football after years of back-to-back losing streaks.
And a local brewery is taking a unique twist on its latest beer.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm Erica Rivas.
And I'm Will Gilbert. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the death of a Mecklenburg teen during a high school football game last month has all local schools on heightened alert for head injuries during sporting events. Parkview High School junior Jamon Sally died after he took a hard hit to the head during a game against Brunswick. He was taken off the field where he started having seizures. He died before he reached the hospital.
The American Association of Neurological Surgeons says these kinds of deaths are not frequent, but they are the #1 cause of sports-related deaths in children. And it's not something most schools take lightly. Petersburg High School is the first in the area to try out new helmet technology that can measure the intensity of football hits. InSight Shanique Yates is in the newsroom with more. Good evening, Shanique.
Good evening, Erica. The autopsy showed that Jamon Sally died of blunt force trauma to the head. It's these tragedies this new technology is hoping to stop, and Petersburg High School is the first in the area to try it. It looks like your average game under the Friday night lights, but there's something very different about the Petersburg players. They're wearing helmets equipped with new technology to protect against hard hits. Petersburg's athletic director, Bill Lawson, says that the football team, with the help of the athletic budget, recently purchased 6 new helmets at a cost of $2,500 to monitor the severity of the hits.
We just wanted to stay above everybody in our area. And, you know, we're definitely here to prevent anything, and we want what's best for our kids.
A sensor is located inside of the helmets that detects how hard a player has been hit. From there, a signal is sent to this device that a coach carries on the sideline. If an alert is received, the player is immediately removed off of the field. An athletic trainer from Southside Regional Medical Center, Tom Harmon, says that concussions are dangerous to anyone, but especially to young children.
They'll tell you one is too many.
Harmon says they take concussions especially serious at the high school level.
The adolescent brain is still developing, so when we have an injury to that, it can make things a little more complicated as far as recovery.
Petersburg running back Jordan Noggin feels safer with the new helmets.
Get a concussion, it can tell how hard you get hit.
Lawson says the program has only seen one hard hit that was suspect in the 3 games that the helmets have been used.
Maybe one hit that was a high hit, you know, to the point where it could have been, but it was nothing.
Right now, only running backs and wide receivers wear the helmets. But Lawson says the school is looking to purchase more helmets in the near future so all players are equipped. Back to you, Erica.
Thanks, Shanique. The historic Southside Education Center has received a recognition that many felt it has deserved for years. The school is well known because it was Dinwiddie County's first school for African Americans. A historic highway marker was given to honor the landmark. At the unveiling ceremony, former attendees and teachers shared their stories of what Southside meant to them.
A Chesterfield County same-sex couple were the second couple to marry there after the Supreme Court ruling allowing it. But more importantly, they can now both have legal parental rights over their son Dylan. InSight's Michelle Green has more on the story.
One big smile, one joyous laughter. Meet 2.5-year-old Dylan, the son of India Lipton and Shirley Lesser. India and Shirley were the second same-sex couple in Chesterfield to legally marry after the Supreme Court ruling making same-sex marriages legal in Virginia.
I was elated and, yeah, I felt like that.
Getting married wasn't the only reason behind their excitement. Now they can both make medical decisions for their son, who has had 17 brain surgeries in his short life.
My right to be in the room with my son won't be questioned. None of that will be questioned.
Because India is Dylan's biological mother, she already had legal rights. but Shirley did not. Before the October 6th decision to legalize gay marriage here in Virginia, only one parent in the same-sex couple could legally adopt. Now, both parents will have those rights once they first get married, second, prove that there is not a second parent with legal rights, then third, the rest is paperwork. At Jewish Family Social Services, where they work with same-sex adoptions, Director of Fund Development Faith Coleman says that this recognition of being married is a great opportunity for same-sex families.
Now it's automatic, it's immediate, it can't be fought in law, it is guaranteed, and truly the winner is the child.
Now in Virginia and 31 other states, children can be winners just like Dylan. For VCU InSight, I'm Michelle Green.
Many same-sex couples have taken advantage of the opportunity to now fully receive joint parental rights of their children since the October 6th legalization of same-sex marriage.
One VCU professor is taking the lessons from his life in spirituality. He has now teamed up with another instructor at Regent University to add those lessons to marriage counseling in their new book. InSight's Brian Coles is in the studio with the author.
I'm in the studio with Dr. Everett Worthington, author of Couple Therapy, a new hopeful approach. Now, doctor, thank you for being here.
It's good to be with you, Brian.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Now, for this new book, what exactly is the idea behind it?
Well, this started out as a book for counselors, a very practical book to help people who are having problems with their relationship, married people or people who are living together or just dating even. But in the end, we realized that it was a really practical book and that even the couples themselves could benefit by it. So it turned out to have multiple purposes.
Great. Now, you actually co-wrote this book with another psychology professor from Regent University, Jennifer Ripley. Now, how did this pairing come about?
Jennifer was my a student in our doctoral program and my advisee back in the 1990s, and she really got attracted to this approach to couple counseling, and so she has continued to make videos and train professionals and do workshops and just be very excited about it. And so I had written a book on hope-focused couple therapy, a couple of editions of that book, and she approached me to update it and write a new book on it with new techniques, and I thought, what a great idea.
Awesome. Now, as far as the new technique goes, we actually do have some video footage of you right now, of you actually working with a researcher on the tango technique. Now, as far as the tango technique goes, can you just explain a little bit about that to us?
Sure. The tango technique is a communication technique that we teach couples, and we use the word tango just to cue people's memory. So T stands for tell what happens. And so the person describes what happened if this is a disagreement or a conflict. The A is, how is this affecting me? You know, what kind of feelings do I feel? What kind of thoughts? N is to make sure that the partner knows that I love them, I care more about our relationship than I care about winning this argument. And then the G is to then turn to the other person who's not been expressing himself or herself and say, do you get it? Do you understand? Can you tell back what happened? And then the O is for both people to observe, how is this affecting us? Are we getting each other angry, or are we moving towards some kind of solution?
Yes, and what is the actual reasoning behind such interactive techniques? Because you have over 100 inside of your book. So what's the reasoning behind that?
Well, we realize that in couple counseling, the couple meets with the counselor usually only 1 hour a week. That leaves 167 other hours for them to have difficulties if they've been having difficulties. And so we wanted to get people involved in interacting positively with each other outside of a counseling hour. And during the counseling hour, then to kind of show them how to do that. So that's why we ended up really focusing on interactions and how people could act positively with each other.
Well, I appreciate you acting positively with me right now. Right now, we have right here Dr. Everett Worthington Jr., and I really do appreciate you working with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
You have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too.
Awesome, you did a fantastic job. I really appreciate you.
With winter right around the corner, there's some good news for those of you who use natural gas to heat your home. The Richmond Department of Public Utilities announced that starting this month, there has been a 20% decline in what the city pays for natural gas. Customers expect to see a cut around $11 to their monthly gas bill. The DPU says the drop is due to improved price projections and increases in natural gas usage over the summer. And if you're planning on traveling this holiday season, plan to fill up your car's gas tank for less. It's been 4 years since we've seen prices this low. InSight's Megan Simpson has more on the story.
Gas prices all over the country, and right here in Virginia, are dropping lower and lower. You may have noticed the prices trickling down since late June, and AAA Public Affairs Specialist Tammy Arnett says they haven't stopped yet.
We could see gas prices to continue to come down at least another 10-20 cents before the end of the year.
And that may mean more savings for travel as well, especially for VCU student Bowen John, who says he normally spends about $150 on gas a month commuting from Henrico County to VCU.
So how much do you think you save on gas alone just with the gas?
Like $10 every month, or 20.
With prices like these, drivers are saving on average $8 per fill-up. That's about 50 cents a gallon. 4 years ago, prices peaked around $3.50, and for the past 2 years, it's been just a few cents less. Yet this year, we've seen the biggest dip at $2.98 for a gallon of regular.
A couple of things that are going on that's helping gas prices come down. One, we always see it this time of year when gas prices come down after summer driving season. When demand's lower, prices come down.
According to AAA, gas prices are now below $3 in more than 17 states, which can make for a busy holiday travel season. And with prices so low, that leaves more money in your pockets for holiday travel, and less of it in your gas tank. For VCU InSight, I'm Megan Simpson.
Gas prices are averaging about $2.75 a gallon, making Virginia the 4th lowest state in the country to buy gas.
For the first time in 500 years, there's a new handwritten Illuminated Bible. Baptist Theological Seminary of Richmond has the honor of showing a copy of the original St. John's Bibles. Over the past 13 years, over 150 different artists of all faiths illustrated the 7-volume set. Although the main exhibit ended on November 2nd, one volume will be a part of a year-long exhibit here in Richmond.
Richmond City Council passed a special use permit to allow a popular live music spot in Richmond to have late-night shows run later, which is prompting praise from the local music community. InSight's Cameron Vigliano is in the newsroom with more. Good evening, Cameron.
Good evening, Will. The Camel is located on the 1600 block of Broad Street and is often characterized as a hot spot for the local music community. But recently, the venue ran into some issues with neighbors over noise. Now, City Hall has provided a solution.
For John Bradbury, guitarist of the local band Face Shift, playing at the Camel has always been an experience.
People know what to expect somewhat when they go into the Camel. It's always high quality.
But there was always one issue. That experience could only last until 11 o'clock at night.
Where we'd have to play for like 20 minutes or less because we don't, things are always a little bit more delayed than we expect them to be. So,
With the passing of the special use permit, the Camel can now have live music till 2 a.m. every night of the week. However, the owner of the Camel, Rand Burgess, says when he first bought the venue in 2008, shows went until 2 a.m., and the issue of his business causing too much noise only came about until recently.
And fast forward 6 years later, 2013, we have one neighbor who found out about our special use permit, saw that we weren't adhering to the law.
And it was those complaints from neighbors like this now closed tanning salon Fantan who avidly made sure the Camel complied to their special use permit. Burgess said the complaints even went as far as to where the cops had to be called multiple times, which in turn greatly affected his business.
Burgess says it was the complaints from neighbors, combined with the support from his customers through an online petition, that influenced him to file for a new special use permit with City Hall and end the drama once and for all. And now that the city has decided in favor of the camel, Bradbury is no longer worried of having his set cut short.
It's a return to normalcy. It's the way it had been for so long.
Now, Richmond City Council's Planning Commission has amended the special use permit to allow City Hall to revisit this issue later on if, in fact, the noise does become a problem. It's given the camel a 1-year trial period to see if the change works for nearby residents. Back to you, Will.
Thanks, Cameron.
A new renovation will occur on Browns Island. The construction of the Browns Island Dam Walk that will connect the north and south banks of the James River should begin no later than January 1st, 2015. The city hopes to have a contractor on board by mid-December of this year so that the riverfront plan can continue. If the dam is completed by next fall, visitors for the UCI World Cycling Championships will be able to use it.
The Richmond Raiders are a pro indoor football league that doesn't take involvement in the community lightly. From the players to the team's dancers, the team firmly believes in giving back to the community that supports them. InSight's Shanique Yates is in the studio with more.
I'm here in the studio with Tim Hurley, General Manager of the Richmond Raiders, and Nicole, one of the Lady Raiders. Tim, Nicole, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, Tim. The Richmond Raiders have been around since 2009, and they're the longest standing indoor pro football team in the area. How do you manage to get out there and get involved in the community?
Well, it's a year-round process, and that's one of the reasons the Raiders were founded way back in 2009, is not only to be a presence on the sports scene and provide that kind of sports entertainment to everybody, but also be involved in the community on a year-round basis. So when the school year starts, our players who live in town and are local are in the schools mentoring middle school children on character and staying in school and getting good grades, as well as anti-bullying. And then when the season starts in the spring, we continue with that and get out in the community even more with our players and our Lady Raiders and our mascots making appearances, getting involved in charity events, communicating with fans, going out with our sponsors, and just being as visible as we possibly can be.
Okay. And Nicole, the Lady Raiders are just as popular as the football players. How do you all get out and mentor young women that are into dancing and cheerleading?
You know, you can find us almost anywhere in the community. We like to go out to middle school and elementary school pep rallies and go talk to young kids about bullying and about, you know, reading and staying in school and playing sports and everything like that. You can find us at festivals and parades and all sorts of stuff, just talking to young children, keeping them positive.
Okay. We have some footage of you at the game. Tim, could you tell me, how do the players take what they're doing on the field and go out into the community? Tell me, do you all bring some of your mentor programs into the stadium, or how do you go about so that they can see what you guys do on the field?
Yeah, it's a two-way process. As you mentioned, we go into the community, we go into the schools, and it's really impressive for the school kids to see actual live pro football players teaching them lessons that some of the players themselves learned as kids, and some of them in Richmond schools here in town. So hearing those lessons about staying in school, getting good grades, and those being necessary if you want to be a pro athlete in the future, coming from a current pro athlete really hit home with the kids. And then a few games a year we do invite them to the Coliseum, and the ones that complete the mentoring program are invited onto the field at halftime to present the banner. And it's just a fun time for them to know that there's a reward in place too for completing the program, coming to one of the games, and seeing their now friends and mentors, the players, out there on the field.
Okay, and when you all go out into the community, are you guys going collectively, or are the players just going, or how does that work?
Usually it's the whole group. It's players, it's cheerleaders, Lady Raiders, sometimes our mascots as well. But sometimes it is a more intimate setting. For instance, some of the mentoring sessions are just players going back and doing in small groups with students some additional sessions when it's not like the whole team making an appearance.
Okay. And Nicole, how the boys in the mentoring programs get to come to the field. Do the girls get to come to do any activities?
They absolutely do. Once a year we end up holding a camp for all of the young girls, and they get to come out and learn a bunch of routines with us and hang out with us, and then they get to perform at halftime on the field with us during a game during the season.
Okay, great. I've been speaking with Tim Hurley, General Manager of the Richmond Raiders, and Nicole, one of our Lady Raiders. Tim and Nicole, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The VCU basketball season kicks off November 14th. With starting point guard Briante Weber suspended for the first 2 games, expect freshman guard Jonathan Williams to make an impact. Here's Jonathan Williams in the black and gold scrimmage that took place October 26th. Williams, a Richmond native at only 6 feet and 170 pounds, is able to dribble past the defense and set up his teammates. VCU will start the season against the University of Tennessee at the Naval Academy in Annapolis, November 14th.
As athletes, injuries are just the risk you take to play the game. No one knows this better than VCU's own Mario Herrera, who is back on the field this season for another comeback.
Senior Mario Herrera is VCU's attacking center mid. VCU coach Dave Gifford says he's a key player on the field.
For me, Mario is one of the more talented attacking players that we'll see in college.
The Mexico City native moved far from home to follow his passion, but it hasn't been an easy road to Richmond.
When he was 16, Herrera suffered his first major injury, a torn meniscus in his left knee, and within 6 years, he added not only 1, but 2 career-threatening ACL tears in the same knee to the list. He came to VCU looking for a second chance.
But the bad luck followed him here when in 2012, Herrera suffered his 3rd ACL tear, but again, he refused to face defeat.
It's part of soccer, and I just wanted to get back at it.
Gifford says injuries like these take a toll on players, but that Herrera's attitude was key in his recovery.
Mario took it the absolute right way for him and just said, hey, okay, it happened. I've been here before and know what I have to do.
Though he came back in 2013 physically healed, Herrera's confidence was shaken, something 10 months of recovery couldn't fix.
The first thing that you have to work on, just get confidence back and don't think about it, because if not, it could be even worse.
Now with the 2014 season underway, Herrera is back and looking to redeem himself. And if anyone had any doubt about his confidence earlier this season, take a look at this goal against Fairleigh Dickinson University, a shot Herrera would have never taken a year ago.
This is what I love and I'm good at it, so this is my life. I wanted to keep playing.
Though he has no definite plans after graduation, Herrera is sure of one thing: he plans to keep playing soccer and following his passion for as long as he can.
It's been a few decades since the Wildcats of Armstrong High School's varsity football team have had a solid year. That all changed as they exploded into this season with 5 consecutive wins. InSight's Ember Kassler has the story.
The last time the Wildcats had 5 wins in a season was 2006. The last time they ended a season with more wins than losses was 1992. The team has drastically changed since last season, and it's not luck that has led to their success and excitement.
With all the popularity that's going around, it's really getting to people.
In 2012, Kedrick Moody became the team's new head coach, and since then, he's been working hard to turn the football program around.
This year, Coach Moody handpicked a new coaching staff, some of whom he's worked with before. Together, they've made drastic changes to the football program, and the team's hard work is finally paying off here at practice and out on the field.
The seniors who have been on the team for 3 years now have seen the changes firsthand.
Well, we've been more competitive at practice, been more aggressive, more agility. We come into practice doing hard work and dedication out here on the field.
It's important for the team to stay focused on each individual week so that their emotions don't affect the games. Coach Moody feels that's been hard for the team this year.
Armstrong has been a hard opponent because we have to battle being 5-0 at 5-1, 5-2. You know, this hasn't been the place where we've been in a while.
This place has led them to the playoffs. For VCU InSight, I'm Ember Kassler.
The team's first playoff game is Friday, November 14th, and the Wildcats hope to get their first postseason win in over 2 decades.
Families gathered at the Cultural Arts Center at Glen Allen for a festival dedicated to El Día de los Muertos, celebrating the historically Mexican tradition of honoring the dead. The event was hosted by the Cultural Arts Center and the Latin American Ballet of Virginia. The festivities included crafts, traditional decor, vendors, and live performances. The cold and rainy weather did little to curb the festival turnout, as many people and families showed up for the celebration.
And finally tonight, over the last few years, Richmond has established itself as a beer town.
With the growing number of breweries in the area, brewers are coming up with ways to set themselves apart.
This includes creating a seasonal brew devoted to the South and an unusual flavor. When guests arrive at Strange Ways Brewery, they expect their palate to be challenged. Lead brewer Mike Hiller likes guests to push their boundaries of flavor and experience.
They're going to taste beer, but it's going to be a little bit weird. It's not going to be like anything else that they've ever had before.
But guests might think the newest flavor coming to them is a little strange. The new seasonal brew's inspiration derives from Southern cuisine and candy roaster squash.
A lot of the farm-to-table places who are kind of reinvigorating traditional Southern ingredients and cooking styles in their restaurants. I wanted to see if we could sort of capture that in a beer as well.
Hiller says Richmond beer drinkers and people who visit Richmond breweries want to challenge their taste buds. Brewer John Wampler at Legend Brewery agrees. He has seen Richmond's beer palate change drastically since he started brewing almost 20 years ago.
A significant chunk of the consumer demand is for what's next, what's crazy, what's new, what's exciting, what have I not tasted before.
Earlier this year, travel guide Frommer's listed Richmond as one of its top destinations of 2014, partially because of its growing beer scene. Brewers like Hiller and Wampler intend to live up to that. With the huge announcement recently of Stone Brewing Company choosing Richmond to be the home of its East Coast branch, Richmond brewers have upped their game.
These days it's just exploding. It's helpful for everyone because it forces everybody to raise their own bar, increase their standards of quality, and tighten up and make better beer. The consumer.
You'll have to wait a few weeks to try the squash beer. It'll be released just in time for Thanksgiving.
Wow, squash beer, that's interesting.
Yeah, it was.
Did you get to try it while you were there?
Oh, well, no, actually they weren't ready yet, but I tried a pumpkin beer while I was there. It was interesting, yeah.
Wow, just in time for Thanksgiving, great.
I think it'll be great. A great pairing for Thanksgiving dinner.
I think so too. And that's it for this edition of VCU InSight.
Make sure to check out our website at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us with any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed our show or would like to watch it again, you can find us on YouTube at VCU InSight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Will Gilbert.
And I'm Erica Rivas. We'll see you next time.